how do you feel, man? You got a kid coming in 3 weeks. Your life's going to be so different.
Well, I don't know,
It's a
like,
lot to dump on you.
yeah. And I mean, what I do know is that I'm excited. I do know that I cannot wait to look at this kid and meet this kid and figure out what my role is going to be in
Uh-huh.
their life and watch my wife become a mom and keep it together, Landreth. Keep it together. It's pretty inspiring, but I don't know how my life is going to change
Oh, you
because
can't.
I don't think there's any way to know what, like, is my kid going to be healthy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, the doctor says that they're a good weight, and that's all we know. And we talked about this, I think, a little bit last week, where I heard somebody say, like, yeah, I used to say, I don't care what it's a girl or boy as long as they're healthy. And then until you have a kid that's not healthy, that's really been on my mind. And not in a worrisome way, but just like you know, it's possible. And so I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about that and just like, I really don't know how my life is going to change. I know I'm excited for it, but I can't even, like, I'm not ready. Like I'm ready to welcome change, but I have no idea what's going to change, And I've watched you and Roberta, you know, fall feet first into parenthood, and so gracefully so. But, and even though, like, I feel like I've been pretty close to your parenthood, I still also don't know what that was like. I've watched certain changes in you. I've watched your priorities shift, and I've gotten a real kick out of, like, what that looks like in your everyday life. Like, now that Dave's a dad, you don't have time for horse shit. And I think it's
It's
not
so
because, like,
true.
it's not because anything has changed, other than you literally do not have time for it.
Yeah.
And that has been really funny and sometimes frustrating, but mostly really funny to watch happen.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so I'm kind of like, I know that that's going to happen for me too, and I just don't know what that's going to look like. And, like, am I worried about some things? Like, maybe a tiny bit. Like, I just don't know how my relationship to work is going to change because I love what I do.
Yeah.
Um so I feel like I'm just kind of like standing here kind of like this. Like, I feel very calm, I feel very zen, just knowing that I have no choice, because I'm a pretty anxious person, like, in my normal life, or certainly in my past life, but it's something I've been working on really hard to kind of to get on top of, and just be aware of at the very least. And what I'm really surprised about is that I'm not anxious,
Right.
and I'm just kind of like, well, I have no, like, I don't even know what I could be anxious about. You know what I mean? There's so many unknowns that I'm like, I can't even begin to speculate what I should be anxious about, and then for some reason I'm not anxious about it. Just like, I know everything's gonna change, and my life is gonna become a really weird place, and then all of a sudden there's gonna be like, where there was not a person before, there will be. Like, it's binary. Like, there's no kid, and then Anna's gonna deliver the baby, and then there is a kid. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know how any of that's gonna feel, but I can't wait.
Yeah, of
I'm super
course. I
excited.
mean,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. Um, you can't. I mean, my anecdotal experience of it is just, you can't prepare yourself for it. You just experience. But that's one of the things that I'm so excited about. I mean, you've been such a huge part of Bert and I's story. You guys have been such a big part of our lives. Obviously, we're really close. I think everybody knows that.
Hmm.
Um, but like, you're right. You can only share so much of it. You guys have been there for a lot of these moments. You've helped us through so much of it, but I'm really excited to, like, see how we connect different dad to dad, because I know my relationship with dad changed
Mm.
with having a kid. I had this sudden insight, you know, like,
Yeah.
that I could not have, no matter how much I loved him, no matter how close we are. I didn't understand what it was to be a dad until I was a dad.
Hmm.
And I feel closer to him because
Yeah.
of that, because we have this shared experience, and all the other dads that I know.
I feel like, and I had this moment of, like, I feel like tiny flash of um awareness when I was thinking about my baby growing in my wife's belly. I'm thinking about this person who's, like, already has preferences. And there was something about like, it was like, because Anna was saying, yeah, when I touch my belly this way, the baby responds, but when you touch my belly, the baby does not. So the baby already likes mom better than me. And like, and I mean, and the funny thing is that doesn't bother me. I'm not like, you know, I've often thought like, well, if my kid's a mama's boy or mama's girl or mama's person, like, is that going to bother me? And in that moment when I realized like, well, right now this little person is a mama's person, and I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I had this moment of clarity where I think I understood for just a split second, and then it kind of fleeted. But I understood for a second that, oh shit, our parents are people, just like I'm a person. And you just like you cannot ever have that perspective as a kid, as a child of someone.
No.
You cannot ever not see them as your parent. And uh I had this like crazy like moment of clarity where I was like, this person will never know me. Like they'll know me, but they'll never not know me as their dad. And that was just like,
Boing.
in the same way that I'm like, I know my parents, I know them really well, and I know, I know this about them and I know that about them, but like what I know about myself and the experiences that I've had, there are lots of experiences that mom and dad have had that I don't know anything about. And I just, there was like, I mean, it sounds so obvious to say it out loud, but like the concept of like your relationship to someone, to your parent, is compartmentalized in a way that you can't ever separate, I don't think. Like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily like, it's, I don't have an answer. I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just sort of contemplating what it's going to be like to be someone's father. And it's like, it's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
It is blowing my
And it will
mind.
continue to, like,
Yeah.
and no matter what you think now, as long as we have similar experiences. And I think, and it's really fun. I'm loving this. I'm watching in the comments section all the dads and the moms, all the parents weighing in on it, and it's really beautiful. And I think everyone will agree with me, those that have kids, that like, uh, whatever you anticipate, it is so far beyond your ability to even imagine the feelings
Yeah.
that are coming your way.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. It's a color you haven't seen yet. You
Mm,
didn't know existed. It's off the spectrum. Um,
yeah.
and the thing that uh, the thing that I really took away from parenthood, or have taken away so far, is that like the difference between the kind of love that you have for your kid is truly unconditional, which is so interesting because I've used that word so much in my life to try and describe relationships and the love that I have for people in my life, platonic love, friends,
Hmm.
um, romantic,
Partners. Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
but it's not. I've learned it's like, oh no, all of that is very conditional love. That love is conditional on a certain,
Mutual
yeah,
respect. And yeah,
mutual respect. Like if you continue to abuse me very badly, I,
I
I
can't love you. I can only love
well,
you this much.
yeah, the way I love you is going to change
Yeah.
how I love you. But like that kid, I think you will discover. Again, I don't want to put it on you because I'm also curious.
There's only one person that you will let barf into your mouth and also punch you in the eyes. And you're still like, wow,
I love you so
you're
much.
great.
And and I understand even from this moment that it's like, no matter what happens to you, no matter the worst thing that you're capable of in your entire life, um, no matter how far down you fall, if whatever your rock bottom looks like, may you be spared from anything really horrible. But whatever your life is, like, I will love you no matter what, no matter what. And it's, I guarantee from this moment forward, I just know that, like, it's an absolute axiom. It's a rule
Mm.
of the universe. And I think, and it's like, oh, I get it. That's what unconditional love is. And it doesn't need to be reciprocated. If this kid that I have, if Finn hates me, if we have some sort of schism in our relationship, and he, like, God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, but if he did, I would still continue to love him. It is not at all conditional on his reciprocal.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, thank you. So
Yeah, that's cool.
isn't that neat?
That's really cool. Let's see what folks are saying. A color that you haven't seen. Judy Rose really like that. Yeah, I like that too. The best feeling is sharing the stage with your daughter slash son. Well, I only know that experience from the other side, sharing the stage with my dad, and that's a pretty cool feeling.
That is very
But I
powerful.
bet you it does not beat playing music with your kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, who knows?
I mean, even the experience that I've had, like, we've bonded over music a handful of times now. Finn and I. We listen to a lot of music,
Yeah.
obviously. No,
Yeah.
that won't be a surprise. And we play music together. He comes up into my office and beats the rat shit out of all my instruments.
Yeah.
Which, he's the only person who can treat my guitar like that.
He
And
stands on it.
I don't slap bass very often, but he does. And yeah, it just makes all this racket. But we're playing music together and we're bonding. And then like we have these moments when I'm like, oh, we're actually like we're exploring sound and music together. And I'm like, whoa, that's heavy. And like, yeah, what would it be like? I don't know if he's gonna be a musician. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
He
I don't
he
care.
definitely loves music. That's pretty cool.